This is the SC4 chuck from Record Power, and this is the range of accessories to go with it. It really is a comprehensive set, and we're going to be taking a look at this.
Hello, my name's Jim Overton. This is the second video in a two-part series. In the first part we had a look at the Record Power SC4 chuck, and in this second video we're going to have a closer look at some of the jaws that are available for this chuck. So as standard with the SC4 chuck set, you get these 50mm chuck jaws, and these have got a dovetail on the outside, a small dovetail or grip on the inside as well. Very nicely machined, beautifully engineered, all fits together very nicely. These are your go-to chuck jaws for a lot of your bowl turning and things like that. It's certainly the set of chuck jaws most people begin with. These are a great all-round chuck jaw for small to medium sized bowls, depending on the weight and depth of the bowl. But yeah, very versatile chuck jaw. So that's the standard 50mm jaws. For comparison, here's the 75mm heavy bowl and gripper jaws. You can see how thick those are. Really seriously strong jaws and very deep, if you compare them to the standard 50mm jaws. Lots of grip inside those jaws. So if you've got a tenon that really needs some strong grip, these are the ones for you. Or a big bowl that requires a hefty grip as well. This will expand very nicely into that. Dovetail on the outside. And as I say, multiple grips on the inside. All beautifully machined, absolutely perfect. So that's those. The 6.2 322 75mm heavy bowl and gripper jaws. Next we're having a look at the 6.2 321. These are the 35mm standard jaws. They are very much the same as the 50mm jaws, but they're smaller. Similar design, only 4 machine screws holding these in because there's not so much room for the second screw. It would be in line with the actual chuck jaws. So these are obviously for less hefty pieces of work. Small spindles or small bowls, things like that. But you can see the profile of them. That's compared with the 50mm. Next we've got the 6.2 336. These are the mini spigot jaws with a 13mm bore. There they are on the chuck. And these are really primarily for expanding into a workpiece. And they go from 26mm diameter recess up to, I think it's 46. The internal diameter there is 13mm. So if you've got a strong spigot on something, you could grip it in there. You can also expand it to grip square pieces in the middle there if they're small enough diameter. But really strong set of jaws again. You can see you could grip square things in the middle there as well if you wanted. But plenty of grip on those. Lovely sharp serrations on there. Loads and loads of grip. So that's the mini spigot jaws. Some more heavyweight jaws coming up. These are the 6.2 329 100mm dovetail and deep gripper jaws. These are some of my favourites. Here it is on the chuck. That makes a hefty piece of kit. Lovely heavy gauge metal, all numbered as usual and beautifully finished. Lovely machine work on there. Dovetail at the end here for going into recesses in bowls or on a spigot. You've got a nice bit of clearance if you need a bit of room underneath the bowl to get to. But these are really good for deep spigots. You've got lovely grips on the inside of there, and the heavy gauge metal will give you really exceptional grip. They're really good for big hollow forms, vases and things like that where you've got a nice deep strong spigot. Next up we've got some long nose jaws, 6.2 323. There you can see the profile, lovely long nose on those, and you can see inside the grips
run right the way down. Nice sharp serrated grips there. Really good for long tenons on spindle work, or if you need to grip a piece so that you've got a bit more clearance between your workpiece and your chuck. For some deeper bowl work and things, you've got this long nose, gives you that extra bit of clearance. Here we have the 62327 pin jaws with a 9mm bore. Now, these are another sort of spigot jaw really. Very good for people who are into pepper mills, you know, expanding it in the inside of the pepper mill and things like that. Lovely little dovetail on the end there as well for doing miniature pieces. And the 9mm bore, very good for gripping small pieces, small tenons, doing miniature work. Yeah, useful set of jaws. Now we've got some big dovetail jaws. I used these recently on a big bowl I did on my Jimson Stuff channel, and they perform brilliantly. 130mm, so over 5 inches. And you can see there, I really do offer a big surface area of grip for those bigger projects, and it did perform absolutely amazingly well when I used it. Then we have the pen jaws, the 62337s, and these are a very specialist jaw, and they are, as the name would suggest, for drilling pen blanks. So here it is. You only get 2 jaws with these. That's all it needs, because it self-centers the square profile pen blanks. And to demonstrate, I've got this lovely candy pen blank here, and that should slot in there, and then we can tighten that up, and that will hold that beautifully. With these jaws you can use a Jacob's chuck in your tailstock to perfectly centre and drill out the middle of these pen blanks to put the tubes in, and it'll eliminate the need for a drill press or a specialist vice in your drill press. It will centre it up automatically. You just adjust the drill speed accordingly, according to what material you're using. You adjust the speed on your lathe. Yeah, very useful set of jaws if you're into your pen turning. Unusual set of jaws next. These are the RP plastic soft jaws, the 62378s. And you can see there they're fixed on in the same way with the 8 machine screws. And the idea of these is that they don't mark your work, and you can shape them to your own desired profile. Not everyone will have a use for them, but they're very useful if you're doing production runs of things, for sale, and that you can make a jam chuck that you could use for all of them, or a soft dovetail jaw, but you profile them yourself using standard lathe tools. And here we've got 2 sets of remounting jaws from Record Power. We've got the larger remounting jaws, mega ones, for bowls up to 295mm, and then we've got the mini remounting jaws for bowls up to 200mm. That's the 62356 and the 62377. Very similar. These come with 2 sets of buffers. They come with the round ones like this, but also these ones with different profiles for internal and external gripping of different diameters, so you get real maximum grip then. This one, like I say, is for bowls up to 295mm, this one up to 200. Now this one's 600 RPM maximum speed, and this one's 800 RPM maximum speed. Oh, this one's particularly good if you're doing a lot of small projects or you've got a mini lathe. So really good size for that. Another thing you get with the larger ones, apart from the extra set of round grippers or buffers, you also get some longer machine screws. Now this is so that you can actually mount a set of standard chuck jaws in the middle of these. So we could mount these. So you just have one longer screw going right through both sets of jaws. and that would save you changing jaws. You know, if you were doing a small production run or something like that, you know, you could turn the start the bowl off with this and then turn it round to remount it straight on the actual jaws without changing anything if you only got the one chuck. Exactly the same with the smaller set of jaws, although you'd probably I shouldn't think you'll want to use much more than the 35mm ones on that. This is the faceplate ring that came with the SC4 chuck that fits on the standard 50mm jaws, but you do have the option of buying this, the 4-inch 100mm faceplate ring. That also fits directly onto the 50mm jaws if you need a bigger faceplate for a bigger project. And that goes onto this just the same. So pop that on there. You can expand the chuck jaws into the dovetail. Another couple of honourable mentions in the lineup for the SC4 chuck is this other wormwood screw, which is the longer version, and this is for using in these deeper chuck jaws, so it still protrudes beyond the end of the chuck jaws. So that's how that one works. And a spur drive that will fit between standard chuck jaws, so that will sit like that. Yeah, so that's the introduction to the SC4 chuck and chuck jaw system, and I hope you enjoyed watching that. It gives you a better idea about what the jaws are actually like and what they can do, but more information can be gathered from the Record Power website.